Welcome to PC Builder. I'm Jason. Today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to do a 1440p gaming rig build, but I'm also going to show you how you can make a better build by using PC Part Picker. You may be familiar with PC Part Picker already, but if you're not, it's an amazing tool to help you get the best value for your money. And even if you are, I bet you I can show you a couple of things that might help you in the future. Come on. Before we get into it, I want to say thank you to everybody who's supporting the channel. I think this is video number 7. Is that enough fingers there? 7. There we go. If you could like and subscribe, help us on this journey to create a channel. Greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to click the bell icon as well. And with that out of the way, let's jump into the build. Okay, so what is PCPartPicker.com? It's just a really amazing tool. It was created by a couple of folks, I think 6 or 8 or maybe 10 years ago. And they currently go out and they index all of the various computer components, and they index them to the price, and the prices get updated, I think, in fact, maybe by the hour, even more often than that. The fantastic thing about it is going to let you figure out how to put together a computer that's the best value for the money. Let me demonstrate. So when I go to build a gaming rig, the first thing I think about isn't necessarily the CPU or the platform, although a lot of folks like to start there. I want to think about what's the graphics card I'm going to build this thing around, because really that's going to be my driver. That's going to be the most expensive component in the entire build. I guarantee it. So for a 1440p build, even an entry level, I really want to see if we can get in for about $850 total a Radeon 5700 XT. To me, that is the best value card for the money right now. So we're going to go down to video card right here. And you just click choose a video card. Now the great thing about this is you can see all kinds of prices and everything, and the various cards are listed here. Now I've blown this up so you can see it a little bit better, especially if you're watching on your phone. What I like to do, I'm going to just shrink it down for just a moment so we can see what it looks like on the PC. I like to go over here to price and like to sort everything by price. Now obviously there's like every card under the sun at this point. So what do we want to do? We want to scroll down here and you can see the chipset. This is the chipset for the cards. We're going to select Radeon RX 5700 XT and click the button. Now we're just going to see Radeon RX 5700 XT, and they're sorted by price, which is fantastic. Sometimes when you've got other components in, if they're not compatible or if they don't think they're compatible, we'll go over this later, you want to uncheck this compatibility filter. For right now, we're going to leave that set up. So RX 5700 XT cards, most of these cards that are selling for dirt cheap are dirt garbage. So I would avoid the Evoke OC. I know they've been working on the thermals for that. I would avoid any XFX cards, frankly any of the cheap MSI cards. Certainly avoid the Challenger. These all have thermal issues, screen lockups, all kinds of problems. So the first card I see that I would actually buy is the Sapphire Pulse. Highly rated card, great thermals, and I believe it's got a slight overclock on it. So we could just pick this card if we want and click add here. Or if we want, we could check this card and say, hey, maybe I'm not going to buy it today. Maybe I'm just putting it together so that in a couple of months or in a month or a couple of weeks or even a couple of days, I want to see where the prices go. So this is a card I would buy. I would consider the Thick Ultra, the 3-fan card. Now that's a bigger card. I definitely consider any of the Power Color cards. Consider the ASRock card. I'm just going to go down here and click off cards that I would consider purchasing as part of this build. That's probably enough. Definitely the Red Devil. It's a great card. So now that I've got these selected, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add from selection. So what that's going to do, it's now going to pick, as you can see, it's now picked the cheapest of the cards that I selected, and it's in what's called a parametric filter. This is called a parametric selection. And you can click show and it'll show you all the cards in here that you've got. Now, as prices change, prices go up and down, if you keep going back to this build, especially if you're still thinking about what you want to build over the course of a couple of weeks, this price will change. It's fantastic. It'll show you what the cheapest card at the time is. And it'll show you if you can even go on special. Okay, for me, the next thing I want to do, since this is an $850 build, we're looking at the bare budget. I want to now figure out my CPU, what platform I'm building. Years past, you'd have a decision to make between Intel and AMD on the platform. However, there's absolutely no decision right now. Intel is way overpriced. Unless you want to get into a super high-end build and you're looking like an i9 9900K, then you definitely want to go AMD. Now for me, at the budget level, what's the thing that I'm going to sacrifice in order to get 1440p level of gaming for as cheap as I can? Well, the graphics card is the most important component, but the not as important component is the CPU. And in this case, what we're going to do is we're actually going to choose a CPU that doesn't even really exist in PC Part Picker. By the way, guys, get on that. The Ryzen 5 1600AF has been out long enough. It's available at Amazon. It can be linked. This definitely needs to be in here. That's just my comment card. So what we're going to do, if there's a part in here that you don't want, we're just going to go ahead and add the AMD Ryzen 5 1600. This is the old one. And I'm going to click this little gear here. And you can use all kinds of different tools in here. You can pull it from your own inventory if you've decided to put in inventory of what you have at home. So maybe you've got one of these in stock in an old computer and you want to put it in here. It'll put it in there without entering a price. In this case, what I'm going to do is also you can use a price from a specific merchant. If you're only an Amazon person, if you got the Amazon card and everything you buy, then you can select Amazon in here. And it'll always pull that price out of Amazon. I'm going to manually enter the price because I know where to get it. You get it from Amazon and it's $85. So I'm going to save this setting in here. So effectively, there's not much difference between the Ryzen 5 1600, the 14 nanometer, and the Ryzen 5 1600AF, which is a 12 nanometer process. It's effectively a 2600 in terms of power consumption. You will see up here, as I add my parts in, it's gonna give me an estimated wattage for the system. This is gonna be really helpful when we go to actually size the power supply. So from here, the great thing about Ryzen chips is they come with a cooler. This comes with a stealth cooler. That's probably all we're going to need. We're not really going to overclock this. Certainly could, and if you did, I would get a better cooler for it. The next thing we're going to buy is a motherboard. Now, the thing about the motherboards, okay, so first thing we want to do is scroll down here, and we want to identify what kind of motherboard we're getting. For a Ryzen 5 1600AF, I would not buy anything other than a B450. Unless you find some kind of incredible X570 sale or X470 sale, I would get a B450. In fact, let's just look. What's the cheapest X470 we're going to get? So come back up here. And we're going to sort by price. Again, I've got this blown up, so it's kind of in the mobile setting right now. Well, it's not bad. The cheapest X470, I believe this doesn't have the ALC 1220 codec on it. That kind of sucks. Is $130. I don't really want to spend $130 on a motherboard, although the audio section looks kind of nice. I'd rather spend more like $85, especially for a CPU like this. So we're going to come back here. We've now selected B450 right here. You can select color if you really want, how much RAM. Honestly, when I'm selecting the motherboard, just select the chipset. That should do it. And we're going to come through the motherboards I definitely would not buy for this. I mean, they're not terrible mothers. About the cheapest board that I would buy is the Gigabyte B450 Aorus M. The reason for this is that this is a board you can upgrade later. You can put a 2700 in it. You can put a 3700 in it. You might even be able to put a 3900, though. I honestly, at that point, I'd get an X570, or I'd spend another $30 on the board and jump up to something like a Tomahawk Max. But honestly, to me, this has all the features I'm going to need. The audio's okay. The VRMs are going to work fine with this, and they're upgradable. You know, it's got enough fan headers for me. I would go ahead and take this 7 days a week and twice on Sunday, and I would just forego spending another $30 on a Tomahawk or something like that. You know, close contenders, often the MSI B450 Gaming Plus, the mobile one, the Micro ATX is usually on sale. Right now it's a couple bucks more, so I wouldn't get it. The downside of this board is it's only got 2 RAM slots. Not a big fan of that. If you can get 4, get 4. After that, some of these boards, like the tough boards, these have thermal issues. Won't have it with the 1600 AF or a 2600, 2700X, 3700X. I would shy away from putting those processors on. I really would love to like the tough B450M Pro Gaming because this has an excellent audio codec on it. It's ALC 1220, going to give you great sound, but the thermals suck on it and the VRM is not very good. So that's the problem with B450 boards, is they're generally a mixed bag. The cheapest boards give you pretty much everything you need for not a lot, but if you want the premium features, you really need to go all the way up past the Tomahawk to get the MSI B450 Gaming Pro Carbon. And honestly, that's a board I own. If you're a no holds person, no holds barred, then that's definitely a board for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pick up the Gigabyte B450 AORSM board. Click Add. All right. What's the next thing we're going to need? We definitely need memory. Unfortunately, as I said in my last video, because of both the coronavirus as well as just NAND prices going up, all physical memory and solid state storage has gone up by at least 30 to 40, even 50% in the last 5 or 6 months. I don't see that stopping anytime soon. So if you're going to buy anything with solid state or physical memory storage, that's the physical memory here, 16 gigabyte kits, or a solid state drive or an NVMe, do it now. Don't wait. You're going to pay more in the future. So the great thing I love about PC part pickers, we're going to come down here. Honestly, DDR3200 is about all I'd run in this. And we want a 16 gigabyte kit. You can try and find 4 times 4 gigabytes, but it just never seems to work out. So 2 times 8 gigabytes is generally going to give you the cheapest price. We're going to come up here. We're going to sort by price again. And we're going to find that we've got an 880 kit here. This is a 3000 kit, a 3000 kit. Looks like, let's see what the cheapest 3200 is. Yeah, for what? For like $2 more, we're going to go with the 3200 kit. In fact, let's just get rid of the 3000. Now the great thing about this is we're going to go ahead and go, we've set all this stuff up, and we're going to add from filter. So when you add from filter, what this is going to do, it's going to simply grab the cheapest kit, the cheapest piece of hardware for the parameters that you identified. In this case, DDR4 3200 memory, a 2 times 8 gigabyte, 16 gigabyte total kit. The cheapest one is the Aegis 16 gig kit. It looks like the Ripjaws was also cheap. You could buy that one if you want. From here on out, it's pretty much downhill sledding. So storage, I recommend strongly that you get a terabyte of storage. Honestly, I know people have been big on NVMe drives over SSDs. You won't see the performance in gaming. You just won't. The load times, even Windows load times, they're not that different that you're really going to notice. And because now the prices are going up, it's no longer the case that NVMe drives are just a couple of dollars more or even the same price. It's really the case now that solid state drives are, once again, kind of a value, a bargain. So I want to search for a drive. I'm going to the capacity tab here. It's at least 960 gigabytes. Some drives aren't exactly a terabyte, especially some of the solid state drives. I don't want to rule anything out. I want around a terabyte. So we're going to go 960 gigs here. We're going to click the solid state box here, and we're going to go up, and we're going to sort this by price. And we've got a Team GX1. These drives are fine, to be honest. They're not the best drives in the world, but they're not going to hurt you. You never really know the difference unless you're doing high-end file transfers or massive amounts of video editing with very, very long render times. You're never going to see the difference. Even in very long render times, you probably wouldn't see the difference. So I can look through and, frankly, I'd buy any of these. I'm really just looking for what's the first NVMe drive that pops up. Looks like this Team MS30. Not really. Oh, it's a Team Group drive. Okay. So $109 is the cheapest. Another one, $112. Crucial's got one. So does Western Digital. So we're looking at $112, $115. Now I can get this GX2 drive for $94. Yeah, for 15 bucks, honestly, in this case, I'm going to go ahead and go with an NVMe drive. And I can do that once I click the SSD. I can do it by clicking this box as NVMe yes. So we've clicked that, and we're just going to go ahead and go with the other ones were SATA drives. Yeah, beware of that. Beware of SATA drives masking as NVMe drives. You want the M.2 ones. So we're going to click Add from Filter. Same thing. Same thing as the memory. It's just going to pull on the cheapest one. It's going to pull on the Western Digital one. Finally, we need to get a case. Not finally. We need a power supply too. Honestly, budget builds, I usually go with budget cases. And typically what I do is nothing any more interesting than sorted by price, lowest to highest. Now, because we have a micro ATX motherboard, we can actually get a micro ATX case. Sometimes you can save a couple of bucks doing that. I usually just look for the first one that's got Cooler Master's on sale. This is a great case. Cooler Master, Masterbox Q300L. You've probably seen a lot of builds with these. I really like these. They look kind of cool. They come with 2 fans pre-installed. We're going to want to add a couple more fans, but let's take this case because it's probably on a sale right now. It's on Amazon. Oh, maybe not. It's on Amazon for 45 bucks. That's a great deal. So let's come down here before we forget, and we're going to add a couple of fans. So we're going to add external laptop accessories, case fans down here. And honestly, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to sort by price, lowest to highest. I'm really just looking. I think this takes 120 mil fans. You can decide if you want RGB. I don't really care about RGB in a budget build. So we're gonna just find the first well-rated fan. These Arctic P12s are very good, actually. I'm gonna take. I really would like a PWM fan, which just means that it's got a 4-pin. It's got power control on it. So we'll just say yes to PWM. But if it's going to raise the price a bunch, because we need 2 of them. Oh, look at that. Okay, that's $1 more. Let's do it. So now I want to add 2 fans. So I'm going to click in here, and under the quantity, I'm going to click 2 and click add. It's pretty easy, right? Okay, finally in our build, you can see we're at the $810 mark. We're doing pretty good. $850 was our budget. Now let's go ahead and identify the power supply. So let's scroll all the way back up. The estimated wattage for this build is 400. If you click on this, it will actually give you a nice, my head's in the way. It'll tell you what the processor is going to use, what the motherboard is going to use, the memory. And as you'll notice, the thing that's going to eat up the most, if my big fat head is out of the way, it is, the thing that's going to eat up the most power, your graphics card. So frankly, if not for the RX 57 XT, you might even get away with a 450 watt power supply in this. I typically try and size the power supply at least 100 watts above what I need. So in this case, it's telling me estimated wattage of 400 watts. So I'm looking for a power supply that's at least 500 watts. So we're going to come down here. Now when you're picking a power supply, you want to get any of the 80 plus rated ones. 80 plus, they're called 80 plus white. That just means it's not a color. Sure, why not? And I don't know why. I haven't seen an 80 plus silver in a long time, but I always check the box just for completeness. So then wattage down here, we want at least 500 watts. And let's see let's come up here, and we're going to sort this by price. Again, I've shrunk it down a little bit. So let me make this a little bigger. Looks like we've got a 500 500 watt power, so thermal takes. These are good power supplies generally. Do these come with a ketchup and mustard cables? I prefer not, but if you're not sure, one of the things I always like to do is come down here, click Newegg. Newegg is the best in terms of specs. So and in terms of pictures. So you just come over here. Yeah, the ketchup and mustard cables. Yeah, you know, let's see what else we got. But Newegg is fantastic in terms of specs. And it always opens that in a new window, so you can just close it and go back. All right, so let's not do the ketchup and mustard. Ketchup and mustard. I'm willing to bet the EVGA, because I own this power supply, is all black. Yeah, okay. You'd think I would remember things like that, but yeah, I don't. So again, what I could do here is I could just click add from filter at this point, and it'll just add the cheapest 500 watt or better, 80 plus efficiency or better power supply to my build. And as prices change, it'll just add a different one. That's usually what I do with power supplies, but I really want all black cables in this one. It's only, you know, $2 more. So I'm just going to come down here and click add. So there it is. And look at that, $853 for 1440p gaming rig. Now, one of the great things about what you can do now is you can actually save this build if you're logged in. So accounts are free, and I often have a lot of times just building systems in PC Part Picker. Maybe you do as well. So we're going to save this as, and we're going to save this as, you know, I have like 6 million different builds. So we'll save this as, this is fun time to build a PC. Obviously that's kind of a stupid label, so let's just go 1440p budget build. I'm going to go V2 because I'm going to guarantee I have at least 2 or 3 1440p rigs in here, and I don't want to overwrite it by accident. And they'll pop this up. And it's just, let's just close this out on the side so you don't have to see all this nonsense. Yeah, it's pretty good. Let me slide myself over here. You can see some of the parts. Actually, can I get a little smaller? There we go. So now what we can see is that we've got a Ryzen 5 1600 AF, great processor. We went with the Gigabyte B450 OS M. Again, $85. We found a good 3200 kit. I believe it's the cast latency 16. You prefer 14, but right now those kits are stupid expensive, so I would just get this. $70. Again, memory's going up. Buy it now. We did pull in an NVMe drive. This is probably an area we could have saved a little bit of money if we'd just gone with an SSD, but frankly, for $15, I'd rather have the NVMe. Then the thing that we built the entire build around, which is the Sapphire Radeon RX 5700 XT. Put in the Cooler Master case, really like that case. Got a couple of case fans for it so that there's 4 total fans in it because it comes with 2. And then we ended up with the EVGA Bronze 80 plus 500 watt power supply for $42. Total of $853. So that's a little bit about PC Part Picker, and that's a 1440p budget build. And if you did like it, by the way, before you leave, please drop us a like and subscribe and click the bell icon. Video number 7. We're growing like crazy. Thank you so much for your support, and peace out.